At the beginning of Season 1, the Kamado family seemed like an ordinary family living on the mountainside. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. They possessed the legendary sun-breathing style, passed down through generations, tracing back to the strongest demon slayer to ever live, Yorichi Tsujikuni. This is where our story begins. Yorichi Tsujikuni was a legendary demon slayer who lived nearly 500 years ago during the Sengoku era, also known as the Golden Age of Demon Slayers. He was the originator of breathing styles, having created the original sun breathing. He was the only demon slayer whom Muzan Kibutsuji feared. Apart from being the sole user of sun breathing, Yorichi was also the greatest swordsman in the world. Even as a 7-year-old child with no training, he could easily defeat a trained swordsman the first time he picked up a sword, striking his opponent in multiple areas faster than the eye could follow. Yorichi's swordsmanship was so extraordinary that a battle doll modeled after him had to be made with 6 arms wielding katanas and utilizing 108 techniques to even attempt to imitate his skills. Yet, the doll was still vastly inferior to him. His might easily overwhelmed the Demon King Muzan, and even in his 80s, he was far stronger than upper rank 1, Kakashibo, his younger brother. Yorichi initially created sun breathing with 12 techniques all connected to one another. Later, upon meeting the Demon King himself, Yorichi perfected a swordsmanship style by creating a new unnamed 13th form. Since sun-breathing techniques are so closely tied to the Kamado family, the 13th form has the user continuously perform all 12 forms of sun-breathing in repetitive succession to increase the accuracy and agility of their movements. This form was created solely to kill Muzan Kibutsuji, as the repetition of all 12 forms aims to destroy Muzan's 12 vital organs, 7 hearts, and 5 brains that move freely inside his body. So, how did the Kamado family come to possess this legendary breathing style? Sometime during the Sengoku era, Yorichi met Sumiyoshi, an ancestor of the Kamado family. Yorichi saved Sumiyoshi, presumably from a demon, and they became close friends. He often visited the Kamados at their mountain home. During one of his stays, Sumiyoshi and his wife asked Yorichi if he could perform his sun-breathing style for them. Yorichi agreed, performing all the forms with such grace that he was likened to a spirit rather than a human. Sumiyoshi closely observed these demonstrations and committed them to memory. On his last visit, Yorichi gave Sumiyoshi his Hanafuda earrings. Sumiyoshi, who looked up to Yorichi, promised to pass the sun-breathing techniques along with the Hanafuda earrings to future generations. He later named it Hinokami Kagura, and it became a family tradition. The Hinokami Kagura was passed down from father to son as a form of dance. The Kamado family used the breathing style in a ritual ceremony practiced every New Year, where the user would offer the fire god a dance from sunset to sunrise to ward off threats and diseases. The Hinokami Kagura dance was created with 12 different segments, each representing a different form of sun-breathing. Eventually, the Hinokami Kagura was passed down to Tanjiro Kamado, the father of our protagonists, Tanjiro and Nezuko. Tanjiro used it in a similar way as his ancestors. He was the head of the Kamado family and died a few years before the main story due to illness. Although there isn't much information about him from flashbacks, we can assume he was a loving and caring person who had a peaceful relationship with his family and regularly lectured Tanjiro about life. According to Tanjiro, Tanjiro didn't like standing out or displaying his true abilities to others. However, if his family was in danger, he wouldn't hesitate to protect them and showed no mercy to the enemy. At some point in his life, Tanjiro married Kaya and had 6 children with her. Despite possessing the legendary breathing style, he never showed interest in joining the Demon Slayers and chose to spend his time with his family instead. Although he died before Tanjiro joined the Demon Slayers, he was a great inspiration to Tanjiro and introduced him to sun breathing. Not many people realized this, but Tanjiro was actually one of the strongest humans around at the time. Despite not being a demon slayer and having a tragic disease that made his body incredibly frail, he was able to slay a bear more than 2 meters tall with incredible speed, without even wielding a Nichiren sword. What's also impressive is that he was able to access the transparent world. Tanjiro stated that he learned this from his father as a form of perception training and used it proficiently against a giant bear, chopping the animal twice in the blink of an eye before it could even react. Tanjiro's birthmark on his forehead is secretly a demon slayer mark. This is proven by Shinjiro's explanation that all sun-breathing users naturally have a mark on their forehead. For those of you who don't know what the transparent world is, let us explain. Demon Slayers who have awakened the Demon Slayer mark can utilize a special form of perception that alters their vision, allowing them to perceive other living beings as if they were transparent. They can see the inner workings of their bodies, most notably the flow of blood, breathing, muscular contractions, and joint movements. One can use the transparent world's power to see inside an enemy's body to predict and evade their opponent's attacks and find openings for their own strikes. Additionally, the user can perceive the world around them as if it were in slow motion, dramatically increasing their movement speed and reflexes. With all this information in mind, it would be very interesting to see how strong Tanjiro would be if he had trained as a Demon Slayer. When we first met the Hashira, none of them had access to the transparent world, and they didn't even know what Demon Slayer marks were. If not for his illness, Tanjiro would surely have been able to rise to the rank of Hashira and possibly become the strongest Demon Slayer of his generation. Throughout his life, Tanjiro emanated no sense of hatred, anger, or fear, even in dire situations. This greatly mirrored Yorichi's capability to suppress his bloodlust for combat. Tanjiro also had immense stamina and endurance for a non-demon slayer, being able to practice the Hinokami Kagura ritual dance from dusk to dawn without rest, despite his illness, frail body, and freezing surroundings. We couldn't possibly make a video on Hinokami Kagura without mentioning everyone's favorite sun-breathing user, Tanjiro Kamado. At the beginning of his journey as a demon slayer, Tanjiro didn't even know what breathing forms were, let alone sun-breathing. Although he had witnessed his father performing Hinokami Kagura in the past, he was completely unaware of what it was. He initially trained under Sakanji, the former water Hashira, and learned water-breathing techniques from him. On his mission to avenge his family and defeat Muzan Kibitsuji, Tanjiro faced many different demons. In the beginning, these demons were weak, and he easily beheaded them using the water-breathing style. However, over time, his enemies became exponentially stronger, and the water-breathing style he was taught was simply not enough to keep him alive. During his near-death experience in his battle against Rui, Tanjiro recalled the memory of his father showing him the Hinokami Kagura in a dance. Simply by recalling this single memory, he was able to instantly adapt his water-breathing and change it to Hinokami Kagura in the middle of battle. Performing a technique this advanced just by seeing it once wouldn't be possible for anyone. We can only assume that since the Kamado family practiced the same style for over 400 years, it's literally in their blood, allowing them to master it without extensive training. As Tanjiro's body was more suited to Hinokami Kagura, he quickly overpowered the lower-ranked demon. However, the strain it placed on his untrained body caused him to collapse only moments after using it. Thus, in battles, he usually saves it as a last resort, only using it when absolutely necessary. Tanjiro trained more so that his body could withstand the strain of Hinokami Kagura techniques, enabling him to use multiple forms in succession during his battle against Daki. Although the whiplash from doing so quickly became apparent, through battling Hantengu and undergoing intense training during the Swordsmith Village arc and the Hashira training arc, Tanjiro finally managed to master all the forms in Hinokami Kagura. He used it to its full potential against Akaza. When Tanjiro witnessed all the forms performed by Yorichi Tsujikuni himself, he realized his own Hinokami Kagura moves had unnecessary movements, different wrist angles, footwork, and breathing rhythms. By removing all these mistakes, he awakened the true form of the legendary sun breathing and was able to temporarily battle on equal grounds with the Demon King Muzan. Muzan even saw Yorichi's visage overlapping with Tanjiro's own when he performed the techniques against him. In conclusion, the Kamado family's legacy of sun breathing is an awe-inspiring tale that spans centuries, rooted in the incredible strength and skill of Yorichi Tsujikuni. This legendary breathing style, passed down through generations, has shaped the destiny of Tanjiro Kamado and his family. From Yorichi's unmatched prowess and his pivotal role in the golden age of demon slayers to Tanjiro's journey of discovery and mastery, the story of sun breathing is a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the indomitable spirit of the Kamado family. Tanjiro's growth from a novice demon slayer to a formidable warrior capable of wielding the true form of sun breathing exemplifies the resilience and determination that define his character. His ability to adapt, learn, and overcome challenges is a tribute to his lineage and the teachings passed down through the Kamado family. The Hinokami Kagura, once a ritual dance to honor the fire god, has become a powerful weapon in the fight against demons, showcasing the profound connection between tradition and innovation. As we look back on the journey of the Kamado family, it is clear that their story is not just about the techniques and battles but also about the values of courage, perseverance, and love. These values have been the driving force behind their actions and have inspired countless others in their fight against darkness. The legacy of sun breathing continues to burn brightly in the heart of Tanjiro Kamado, carrying forward the spirit of Yorichi Tsujikuni and the generations that came before him. It is a legacy of hope, strength, and unwavering determination that will inspire future generations of demon slayers to rise against the forces of evil. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history and significance of sun breathing. We hope this story has inspired you as much as it has inspired us. Stay tuned for more incredible tales from the world of demon slayers, and remember, the flame of hope will never be extinguished as long as there are those who continue to fight for what is right. For more anime content, please subscribe the channel and like this video.